Yep.
Anything that's easy for a human to do, it's super hard for a computer to do, and vice versa. It's hard for a person, it's usually easy for a computer. So like remembering every single book that's ever been written, super easy for computers to do, really hard for a person. Putting a comma in the right place in like a number, if like it has thousands, right? Really easy for a person to do, you just put the comma, right? But on a computer, it's actually a harder than you would think problem.
Yeah.
That's a real experience. Like somebody asked me to do that, and I was like, "This is more painful than it's worth." Like actually doing it. Luckily, there was a built-in function to do it for me because people came before me.
Someone solved it before.
Yeah. So what, what do you want to recognize?
I guess to start you off of some. Let's say you want to build a little API mashup.
Yeah.
You want to feed an image in. I won't prescribe for you how the image goes in, whatever. Let's say it's data, it could be, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then we want to send a tweet with the what's in the picture. So some words of description. So extract away the tweet or pick your poison.
Yeah.
But we want some text back
that says
there's something in it.
That's probably the hardest problem to like solve for image recognition. It's just like figure out what's there.
You're right.
I would actually start small, right? So I'd like try to just figure out like what's like this, like only figure out like one thing of like trying to figure out what it is. So like just figure out a face. Like that's a hard enough problem to figure out is something a face or is it not a face?
Right.
That's super hard. Like who knows how like Facebook. I worked at Facebook. I have no idea how they're figuring out like who you are and you know, like your image of friends and stuff, and like figuring out a face there, like super hard. And that's your face versus your friends' faces or whatever that somehow knows fairly well how to do that.
Yeah.
Super difficult problem.
It's sort of interesting you said that before you even like touch the keyboard because, anyway, it's supposed to be pretty much unguided, but I'm just interested to ask you, in your mind, are you like, well, Facebook has amazing people, they're good at it, or how much is that like brand or that like behemoth playing when you think about this problem? And
like they have the best people, and they did figure. So there's actually two different parts to it, right? One is they have really great people. They have probably the best people in the world, and they were able to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Like figuring out like one face from another is probably even more difficult than figuring out this is a face of a person versus this is a horse. Right?
Yeah.
Horse is my other like really favorite example. Like being able to tell this is a picture of a horse versus this is a picture of a painting of a horse. Super hard to figure that out.
Yeah.
Faces are really hard. And then figuring out like one face from another, where I think I was talking to Dan about this, where like I was actually doing some reading about like how do you do image recognition for faces, that kind of stuff. And like it basically creates this kind of amalgamation, and you're like kind of training the AI to figure out like, oh, this is what a face is. And like I was reading, like basically what it came back with was kind of like almost like a skull-looking thing, where it was just like if there's two dark like spots with the eyes, right, and there's a dark spot where the mouth is, and two dark spots where nostrils are, right, like that's kind of what a face. Like if you take 1 million faces, that's like on average what a face is versus what it isn't.
Yeah.
Like, and so then like being able to extrapolate from like, all right, this is a face to this is my face versus my friend's face is like I have no idea how they would do that, but like so that's like it's really hard. They have the best people in the world. They did it, right? With the best people in the world. The other side of that is they did do it, so it's possible, right? Like maybe they have something. Maybe there's some API out there that I can use, like you guys were mentioning. Like you have somebody. Even when approaching the problem, I would actually say like, hey, this is a super hard thing. Is this really what we want to be doing? And if it is, like this is the core like part of the business, like all right, great, let's try to figure out how to do this. If it's not core to the business, I would just like say like, hey, is this really that necessary? And if it is, like I would totally just try to get a third party library.
Got it. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to tackle this problem on my own. Like people are spending like decades of like research papers and like their postdoctorates on like just doing image recognition.
Right. So without you like running any code,
Yeah.
like maybe just using, let's restrict it to like a browser.
Yeah.
Could you like evaluate a few options and just like poke around at their home or whatever?
Sure. Yeah.
However
so,
you would go about it.
Yeah. So if
Should
we had said like, hey, you know, we want to do this. we're just going to use an API because we're not going to want to tech this ourselves.
Yeah.
We got the APIs. I would put in just try to figure out kind of some main images. Like there has to be some general, what is our customer going to be putting in, right? If it's our customer, our users are putting in images, right? Is there a typical image that they're uploading? Is there they're not going to be uploading, I would assume, I don't know, pictures of the inside of belly buttons, right? Is that necessary to solve that? What are the main cases, right? Over let's say we put even out there just a basic model for a month. Let's see what's the set of, maybe we even have people behind this to start with. Maybe just a person so there is the easiest way to do this without even needing an API. This is a hard problem for computers to solve, so let's not solve it with a computer. There's Mechanical Turk from Amazon, right? We just have some guy who just on the back is oh, this is a horse, right? Types in a horse, right? We can do that for the first week, right?
Yeah.
And see what's the major categories of things, and maybe you're gonna record your password.
I'll point it down.
We're editing that out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say...
I'd actually say V1, maybe that's what you do is Mechanical Turk.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have... So there's
let's say we're definitely using
sure.
third-party API.
Right.
So we made that decision.
So let's say
and we're
have
agnostic
a most important,
to we don't know what's going to come in.
Okay. I mean, I would still want to know, what are our test cases? What do we always want to get right? There's got to be some, we always want, let's say we're a grocery store website, right?
Yeah.
We always want fruits and vegetables and food items to come back right.
Yeah.
We don't care so much about getting New York picked out from San Francisco. If there's a picture of buildings.
Yeah,
right? There's got to be some limitation.
All right, so how about just Google image up some image that you're let's be sure about, and then we can use that as our test.
So let's say we're gonna
anything you want.
Let's say we're gonna do apples, right? So okay, here's this is a great picture of an apple. It's got some stuff down here, some writing. So I maybe you can even pick try to get some cleaner image. This is a pretty clean image.
Wow, that better come back Apple.
I don't know what that was. So yeah, so here I just copy a link address.
Okay.
All right. So what's the API that we're gonna be?
Well, that's what we want you to watch you sort of evaluate and Google around.
So if you had one, I would just evaluate it with some pictures and see how well it does. But if we're even just looking for that, so I would just.
We're just trying to see very early in the customer developer journey, how you would actually even go about testing and trying. So.
Yeah. So here's the image recognition API.
Cool.
Somebody's advertising. They want to this, so I ignore people that are advertising and go with the people that are just naturally at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe take so here's a list of 14 plus.
Yeah, that's
just literally take the first.
I think you're downloading them.
Oh.
What were you holding? Alt? Try control.
That's what I was trying to do.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, so I'm literally just
boom. Open the
first
all
5
your tabs
and see what's going on. It's all right. Image recognition that actually works. We don't just recognize images; we understand them. Do they have an example on here? If they can recognize images, let's see, sign up for free. I want to test this stuff out. What's their API look like? I don't want to have to sign up for something before I actually. Oh, there we go. All right, so here's the URL. That's perfect. So there's I think that's the Apple. Error. So let's see. Copy link address. Go back here. It's the same thing. So let's go back here. View image. All right. So there's the image.
Oh, okay.
The real URL to the image. Put this here. Image. Let's see. So it says this is food, red apple fruit. That's pretty good.
Wow.
That's pretty surprising. Right off the bat, I would probably even if they were able to get that, that's a really good indication, right? And if they're the top, they're the top search result. They're probably the top search result because they're really good. So it's I would now try to actually stump them.
Mm-hmm.
So
great point.
Let's get rid of the apple. Let's put in what's the craziest thing? Let's see, unicorn. Unicorn poop. That looks great. All right, so here we go.
Oh, that commercial.
Sandwiches.
Commercial.
Yeah, Squatty great. Let's see what it does with like sparkly unicorn poop. Like how much can we like stump this thing? If it came back with unicorn poop, I would quit ZocDoc and sell this company. I'd at least buy all their stock. I would definitely not quit ZocDoc under any circumstances.
That'll be cut out. Don't worry. This is off the record.
So my guess is going to come up with cookies, or it's going to come up with ice cream. That's my guess of what it would actually come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Or cake maybe, cupcake maybe. Something in there, right? Like the sparkles are kind of like, oh, this is kind of cupcakey. It's really completed. Pink, purple, and green ice cream roll. So like pretty close to what I thought it might come up with. That's interesting. So it actually did like a really good job. Like this is like a really hard to figure out what this thing is. That probably is like a really amazing. That is like a pretty amazing like description of what this thing is, of like not knowing really what this thing is. It's just a made up thing.
Right.
Yeah, maybe like one more.
Well, got
like,
ice cream. That's pretty cool.
Painting of a horse. I want to get one with a frame, so at least has a chance to. Oh, there's a horse painting. That's kind of an interesting.
A horse painting.
Actually, that'd be kind of like. I'd actually just do this for like a little while, right? Like just look at these different images.
Yeah.
And just see what it comes up with. Really getting a feel for like how well it does.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get rid of that guy. So here's this thing. So it'll be interesting. Let's see if it comes back with like a picture of a painting of a horse. That's my like second like one of my other favorite examples of like it's really hard to figure this stuff out. Like, that's like a non-realistic version of a horse.
Right.
But blue, orange, white, and yellow horse painting.
Wow.
That's pretty fantastic.
Wow.
I'm pretty impressed by this company. Yeah, I would just say, hey, let's use this like let's not even like waste time looking at other people. Let's look at their API,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems to work pretty well. Right, like, do they have pricing anywhere? So I'm looking for pricing. I don't see pricing anywhere. That's always really annoying. It always makes me think they're going to charge like $1 billion. Let's see. That's for these people. Nobody I've ever heard of.
So you're sort of thinking about like, oh, let me check out who works here. Just
Yeah.
like. See
Yeah,
if
mainly I was actually like clicking on trying to find pricing.
Right.
But like while I'm here, I'm like, oh, like is this anybody that I've ever heard of? Do they have any like? A lot of times they'll say like what companies they used to work for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any of that here. These I think are the advisors,
Mm-hmm.
which would be nice like for advisors if I had heard of them, or if they said like, oh, it does say like Gaikai, People PC, Ying. So he has his own venture firm. Founder Roll. I've never heard of even like any of these things. So like it'd be nice if like if like one of these guys was like, oh, Google image recognition or Facebook image recognition.
Right.
Like, oh, like they have a really good advisor. For all I know, these people just like put in $20,000 a piece when there's a young company, and now they're advisors.
Right.
So the kind of the second thing, like talking about kind of that line of things, is this company going to be around? Are we going to be able to depend on them? As soon as you have a third-party dependency, like your bread and butter now is relying on somebody else.
Great point.
And so, and maybe even for that reason, like, all right, here's the list of 14 plus image recognition APIs. I wish I actually kept those images around. So it'd be nice to like actually do a comparison. I don't know what CamFind link.
What are you sort of thinking as you look at this?
So this is supposed to be like a list of 14 plus image recognition APIs. I'm trying to figure out like where is this? Like, is this the list? It looks like this is the list. Number one API CamFind. they're not even on the list of Google results.